Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I don't know about you, but for me, in order to figure out certain things in life, I'm waiting for a pattern. So I'm waiting for something to occur three times. And after three times, I am willing to decide that that particular person, particular action will be defined in a certain way. I will give it a meaning, a special meaning. So if someone, let's say, is rude towards me three times, I take it that that person is a rude person, and I will behave accordingly when I meet that person again, if I meet that person again. The same if I have a person who is doing something, let's say I ask that person to do something for me, whatever the situation might be, and it's incapable of performing or completing that task, and it's of a certain level of intellectual ability required to fulfill that task. After three attempts, I drop the level of IQ that I assign to that person. Sometimes, they can redeem themselves, obviously, but they need a lot back. It's not going to be the same rule of three, because three will just bring it back. It needs more. So in this case, we have Chancellor of Germany, Olaf Scholz, who's got three strikes for me as being a person of average intellectual abilities or moral, how should I say, ambiguity. Let's read this article that comes from my friends, I think, Reuters. Yes, indeed. It came out today, June 20th. And this is the title. Putin fears, and I'm quoting, spark of democracy. Germany's Scholz says. Okay, well, let's see what arguments he brings. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz attends a joint news conference as Russia's attack on Ukraine continues in Kiev, Ukraine, June 16, 2022. All right. Russian President Vladimir Putin fears, that's June 20th, on this June 20th, 2022 in Berlin. Russian President Vladimir Putin fears the spark of democracy spreading to his country. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said, adding that he was trying to divide Europe and return to a world dominated by spheres of influence. All right, Scholz was responding to a question in an interview with the Münchener Merkur newspaper, published on the government website on Monday, and whether Putin would accept Ukraine moving closer to the European Union. Now, this will be the fourth strike for Mr. Olaf Scholz, not only the third one. But this is he not aware that a sphere of influence dominated by the United States exists as it is on this planet that he breathes? So Olaf Scholz says that he's trying to divide Europe and return to a world dominated by spheres of influence. Well, right now, it's only one sphere of influence, Olaf Scholz, and that is United States, that totally dominates European foreign policy and whatever they do and say. So that's very low IQ for Mr. Scholz, or as I said, very dubious moral standards. Okay, let's continue with the article. That will be strike one, even though this is the latest. I had three already prepared for him. And I'm quoting, the Russian president must accept that there is a community of law-based democracies in his neighborhood that is growing ever closer together, he said. He clearly fears the spark of democracy spreading to his country. All right, well, let's unpack this claim. Mr. Olaf Scholz, Chancellor Olaf Scholz, he should know that Russia has a democratic system of electing officials, doesn't he? All right, that's for point number one. Point number two, Olaf Scholz definitely must know that the will of the people should be respected. That is the basis of democracy. There's a definition. The people will, the majority will rule, correct? Yes. So then he would definitely remember that um, Crimea had the will of the people, right? It was a democratic um, process that occurred in Crimea. It was a referendum. That's a direct vote towards something, towards independence, and then to be part of Russia. So he definitely, if he respects democracy, which was in Crimea and was expressed by the population of Crimea, he should respect that because he's a Democrat. And that was arranged, right, and was organized by Russia. So why should Russia be afraid of democracy? Because that worked in his behalf, in his interest. So might be, but it was a democratic system and a democratic process. So Olaf Scholz should respect and he should recognize Crimea based on the democracy and the fact that those people voted to be independent and be part of Russia. So if he's such a democratic and loving of democracy, he should definitely respect the will of the people and definitely recognize Crimea and Crimean people's vote. Okay, number four, four now, because one was here with the first one with domination, sphere of influence. The second one was Russia is a democratic system. They vote over there. Three is Crimea. And now we go to number four. So that's a four. And the four is definitely if he likes Mr. Scholz, he likes democracy, and he respects the will of the people, then you remember Mr. Scholz that Lugansk and Donbas and, those regions, they voted for their independence. And they would vote to be part of Russia soon in a democratic system, a democratic manner, in a democratic process. So you would definitely recognize the will of the people of those territories to vote, and then when they would vote through a democratic system and process, they will probably be annexed to Russia, which Russia is definitely, as you think, and not a democratic system. So why would those want to go to a undemocratic system, which is Russia? So this is strike number four for Mr. Scholz on my part. And for me, Mr. Scholz from now on will be considered below 86 IQ or very, very bad moral standards because he must ignore. And I got another one. And I got the number five, if you really want to know, about Mr. Scholz. Remember when he visited Moscow before the February 24th. And he said over there that this would be the first time when it's war in Europe after the Second World War. This is his history class, told him in Germany. I don't know where he attended or whatever he attended, but he didn't learn shit. And Putin corrected him on the stage. Everybody could hear, and he said, no, that's incorrect. It was another war that you're forgetting, and that was the attack on Yugoslavia by the defensive organization called NATO, who illegally bombarded Yugoslavia in 1999. Scholz, remember? And Scholz was looking down and was, yes. So he is a below 86 from now on. If you have any doubts, please come back to this video. I will not make these points again. All right, let's go here and see what Zakharova says. All right, so the Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson, which is a spokeswoman, we don't play bullshit here, Maria Zakharova rejected the comments, writing on social media, and I'm quoting, German sparks have spread onto our couple of times. We will not allow any more fires. You know what she was referring to, correct? And it was the World Wars. The European Commission last week recommended that Ukraine, which has been battling a Russian invasion since February, be given the status of candidate to join the European Union, blah, blah, blah. Now, you know that Ukraine, the current, the Ukraine in 2014, the democratically elected government, which was corrupt like many others in that part of the world, but nevertheless, it was democratically elected. was overthrown by a clique of guys and recognized the next people that got in power after that overthrow of a legitimate government in Ukraine in 2014 by inside forces with the help of outside Western um, services was immediately recognized by Germany, for instance. So without any democratic system, they recognized immediately those governments and the next governments that followed. So Mr. Scholz definitely doesn't know what he's talking about, or he's just such a crook and such a weasel that just avoids thinking that you and I don't remember and don't know these things. And definitely there are people out there, most of them, who don't know these kind of things. So thank you very much, Mr. Scholz. You have no room to lecture anyone, and you don't know anything, and you are just a below 86 IQ individual. Thank you very much. Stamped, signature, issued out. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.